Hello, everyone. We're here, but for some reason, I am not getting my socials connected.
Oh, mine did. Mine asked me a tricky question. I didn't know the answer. I just went, yes, do it anyway. So I don't know if I am or not.
I know. I'm like, just go live. Just do it. Okay, now I think it's going. It didn't give me the option right away. Good morning, good afternoon to everyone. We are back for a final time to talk about the season's collection. We might have more questions this time from people who have started to do this crochet along. We've got some good mornings going on. We're back again, and we want to let you know that this ends soon. So today's the 26th, and on the 30th, it's the 30th, right?
Yeah.
This collection can no longer be purchased as a collection. Of course, we've still got the crochet along going along. That never ends. We don't like deadlines. So you can post today, you can post tomorrow, you can post next year, and we're excited to see it. And then, but the VIP collection where you get all the bonuses and all of our patterns and gorgeous PDFs and all the good stuff ends on the 30th. Like, you can't purchase it after that. So it goes in the vault. So you'll want to purchase it now if you want to get that VIP collection. And stay tuned for a couple minutes because we have a surprise. I don't know if you saw an email this morning, perhaps from some of us. We added some stuff. Right, ladies?
We like surprises. We always do this, don't we? We're like, oh, that's not enough yet. Let's add more.
Let's add 3 more patterns. And they're all in a summer theme in cotton, right? I think all of them are. Yes, of course we want to keep with the theme. So we all added a pattern each, so accessory home decor to the collection. So if you've already purchased, you have them. Don't worry. They are there where you download the PDFs before. Now they are in there. They are there for you to download. You are ahead of the game. You're good. If you haven't purchased, you'll want to jump on now before the 30th to get those bonuses. Because like I said, all of that together as a package will go away. So if you've really been like not sure, you're going to want to take that leap because you're not going to have the option in just a few days. And now it has bonuses. So now it's 9 patterns.
9 patterns, yeah. And the extra ones we've put in like quick and easy ones, haven't we? Then, you know, they're meant to be like fun, quick projects that you can take away on holiday with you, use up your yarn, because we figured like lots of people will have bought, we know lots of people have bought lots of yarn because they've told us, haven't they? Yes. And so any spare yarn you've got, you can use these patterns for.
Yes, and mine you can use for gifts or for markets. I updated the pattern I put in there, and I put a really cute printable to help with gifting and, you know, selling at markets. I know there's a lot of people that like to sell at markets, and it's really useful for that. So like these are awesome patterns. And like Hannah said, if you've purchased a ton of yarn, great. Now you have more things to do with that leftover yarn that's really, really quick and easy. I think mine uses less than 60 yards. So it's like quick and easy and great for gifting, especially last minute gifting.
Yeah. I have mine here. So I included lots of sizes. So this is like fairly big, but there are smaller sizes in it, and it's just worsted weight cotton. So if you have extra comfy, but just Bernat, Dishy, really any of the worsted weight cottons you have in your stash, you can.
Which cotton is the best yarn for bags?
Yeah, definitely.
So I added the market bag, and then plus the patterns of mine that you're getting in the collection are the Viscountess V-neck, and you can do it short sleeve or long sleeve, and then also the wallflower granny hat as well. I've got it over here. I can grab
Which everyone is like busting out.
Yes.
So many of them.
Yeah, we've seen tons of hats.
And I think, do you know what? All of these patterns would be good. Obviously, the garments would be a big time investment, but the accessories and stuff, they'd all be really good for anyone that makes to sell. So anyone that's doing summer markets, I think all of these accessories, like the headbands, the hat, your Danbury bag, like they're all amazing. Plus then the bonuses that we put in. We didn't even do that intentionally, did we? But they all are really good, either gifting things or to sell. And we do all allow that, don't we? We all allow people to sell anything that you make from our patterns. We wish you luck. Take them to
we hope you sell a ton. We truly do. We wish you the best of luck. We know how hard it can be at markets, and we have no problem with you creating these patterns, taking them to market, and we hope that you make a killing. We really, really do. And let us know. Also, I love seeing people's setups. So share those in our community group. If you're selling any of our items at markets, I love seeing the market setup. Please share a photo. We're going to be here to cheer you on. Yeah, I mean, well, anything you make, any of our community groups, when you're making any of these patterns from our collections, we want you to come post in our community groups, and we don't care which one you post in. It's totally fine. We just want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, there's people saying they've finished. I've got a bit more of the hood and the waistband left to go on the hoodie. The hat, hoodie, and the dress are done. Oh my goodness. That's good going.
That's
wow.
amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm actually surprised at how many tops that I have seen finished in the group. It just shows how quickly a fingering weight garment can work up, because so many have posted their tops in my community. And they look great. Like, everyone's making their little tweaks and modifications and spin on color. Somebody in the group was using one of the yarns that I recommended as a substitute, which was the Lion Brand string.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
yarn,
I haven't seen that. I need to go see that.
You have seen it, Hannah. We saw it together.
Did we?
Yeah. Let me look. Just a second.
You have the string yarn. So if you want to add some, fun color to
that yarn. Yes.
Pretty. Yeah.
Yes. I have a top coming out in the same stitch as this collection.
Amazing.
Awesome.
It's a fun one.
Love it. Yeah.
I'm like, you have seen it, Hannah. We saw it together.
We did. I remember now. I've seen so much yarn with you.
Yes, it's so much fun.
We've been in many yarn shops together.
Yeah. And that's the best part.
Look at this.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anyone has any questions about any of the patterns, we're here to answer them today. So make sure to drop those in the comments. And
I love this. I love when people say, am I covering it, Michelle? I hate that. But it says they're working on the hoodie and they're so excited. It turns out it is their first wearable. And that is the comment I think sometimes I love the most when we go live, is when people say this is the first time they've tried a garment. And it's not hard. Like, it's really not hard to do a garment, especially the garments we have where we have all these patterns come with video tutorials. We've got detailed patterns, we've got customizations, we've got yarn substitutes, we've got everything in there for success, including a measurement guide that's in there. So it makes me so happy when people do their garment for the very first time and they're like, oh, that was not as scary as I thought. Because it's not scary. With the right instruction, it's really not scary.
That's the key, isn't it? That's the key. If you have a pattern that doesn't make any sense and doesn't have any support with it, then, and that's why we started these crochet alongs, wasn't it? So that we could give the people like extra support, not just the pattern, not just the video, but us in person and each other. And that is so amazing to see, isn't it? When people are supporting each other in the groups.
It is. And I remember all of our conversations when we first started doing this. The first time we did garments, you kind of feel nervous sometimes doing garments because you think, are people going to jump on and do it? Because we know so many people are afraid of garments. And now we've just found that, we're really good at doing that. And we're really good at convincing people to do it and try it and see that it is not scary. And I love how now, we don't even really have that conversation as much in terms of should we do a garment? Should we not? We're like, yeah, we should. Absolutely. That's what people want.
That's what we all make it designing as well, though, don't we? So I think hopefully that shows.
Yeah.
Although I noticed a comment in my community group this morning when I was looking through that someone is excited about what I'm going to have for fall, home accessory wise. And I'm like, oh no, the pressure's on now.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
New for fall.
Yeah.
Oh. I do love throwing out fun little accessories and stuff too. My bunny at Easter was so popular. It went crazy, that just cute little home decor bunny that I did. And it is fun. It is fun.
I think people love big things like that, don't they?
Yeah, which is why it's great that now we've included 3 more in this collection.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. Let's see. Oh man, I just lost it. We have so many comments coming in.
I know.
Norma said she had a stroke in February, and the first pattern she's been able to do is the Danbury bag. I completed it Monday. I feel so accomplished. Can't wait to try the rest. Norma, we're so happy you're on the road to recovery and so excited you made that bag.
That's
that
amazing.
bag, I think, is coming up on, I think it's getting close to 8 million views on Instagram. It went crazy. See, I know, and I've seen so many of them, and I continue to have people ask in the community group, and I had a message this morning where a woman was saying that she is off on gauge. Like she tried a couple times and she's getting a little bit frustrated on gauge. It's a really simple stitch repeat, but sometimes when you're doing yarn substitutes, that's what you can run into. But with this bag, not with garments, with this bag only, I'm like, don't worry about it. What's your width? And she told me her width. I just divide the width by 3, and that's how high she's going to make it. It'll be slightly bigger, but not by a ton. So when I say it's a 1-to-3 ratio, really, like, you're good. Just do your width and then do the height 1/3 of what the width is. It's fun. It's easy. Someone said, I have one of each of your patterns currently on a hook. Brianna, that granny cover up is turning out great. Just going to modify the low back with an additional half granny to fill it up. Yep. That was one of my suggestions for that one too. Oh, so here's a comment. It says, I'm an older lady who had breast cancer years ago. Can sweaters be made with a crew neck? Yes, depending on the construction. So wait, ladies, remind me. So mine is a cardigan. So maybe she's asking about Michelle's sweater. If Michelle's sweater can be made as just like as a crew, like a normal neckline.
Higher crew neck, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm coming out with the same pattern as a crew neck because it is different. It's different the way you make it. So when I'm doing a V-neck, the way I construct it is I'm going back and forth in rows. And I'm creating that to get down to the V, and then I work it in the round. Or when I do the crew neck, I start with the collar and then I work the whole thing in the round. So I am coming out with a pattern. Like if you like that V-stitch pullover, if you like that style, I will be coming out with a crew neck version of it. But the patterns are very similar when you get to the sleeves and when you get to the lower section, but the top is done differently.
Yeah. I have a similar, I think it's called the Muse. It uses V-stitch and one other, and that one is still a flat construction. I think 2 seams, and that one's a crew neck. So that's another option too. But I would say where Michelle's coming out with one, versus like trying to modify it, just hold tight.
Yeah.
Just do something else in the meantime. Someone says, I love your collections. You think of everything, and the patterns are very friendly from beginners to advanced. Keep them coming. Thank you so much.
Oh, we will. There was a question there I saw, I don't know where it's gone now, about the coupon code. I've had a couple of messages about this. So someone's asking about the We Crochet coupon code that we had has now expired. It expired on the 21st, I believe. But We Crochet, we knew this was going to happen, and We Crochet have their summer sale on. So you can still get the same, if not actually a little bit more, off all the comfy yarn. It depends on the different color as to how much is off, I think. So if you just go on, the summer sale is running, so you can still save that money. The
coupon code wouldn't have worked on sale items anyway.
No, you can't stack their coupon codes in that way anyway. So that coupon code is done now, and you can actually just shop the summer sale, which I believe ends on the 29th. I think so.
I want to say I think it's the 29th.
So if you want to take advantage, then go shopping, I say.
Mm-hmm. Definitely go shopping.
I love it. They do a summer sale every year, and it's usually really good.
Oh, it's such a great sale.
Their summer sales.
I often make myself like a list of stuff that I would like and just leave it up and like for anything really, not even just yarn, of like what I know I want. And then when a sale comes on, I'm like, boom, I'm in there.
Yep. And it's a good one.
The 29th. It does end the 29th. I just went to their site just to see. If you go to their crochet.com, they have banners there, and it tells you kind of everything that's going on.
Some of the yarn is up to 60% off. So you can still click our link. Our link will take you right to it and shop from our link. And then a lot of stuff is on sale.
Yes.
I want to make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, so Jennifer says, sorry, I always have trouble with gauge when making garments. Gauge is like the number one topic we talk about when it comes to garments, and it is critical and it is important when we're talking about sizing because you want it to fit you right. You want it to be the correct size. So what I would say, oh, I just lost my hook. That's so fun. Well, like, where's another hook? Do I have it? Oh my Lord, that thing rolled.
Oh no. Is it gone? The cat will get
back. I'm back. I got it. I rescued the hook. No hook left behind.
I was gonna say the cat will find it for you if not.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, my cat's gonna take that.
Oh, mine used to chew on them. They wreck them if they're like dogs almost. They like grab them, chew them,
roll them around.
My children. Oliver chews on mine.
She loves my props. She chews up all my props. Like she is brutal. Like she gets up on my desk and she's like chewing on it. I'm like, Georgia, stop ruining.
Mine does that too. He jumps up here and he chews on all the like little flowers like this. He'll just like chew on the ends of it.
Yeah, exactly. They love to chew.
But they're the worst, Hannah, because I know you have dogs, but like I love cats and I love Loki, but there are times where like they're not a dog, so you're like, shoot, don't do that, and they just look at you like, what?
Wow. And this is mine. I've never had much of an affinity. I've never met a cat that likes me or that I particularly like. So I'm a bit like, that's cool. We're fine. We're okay being in our own spaces. But yeah, I've just never really understood cats, and they don't get me either.
I still don't understand them, but they're just stinking cute, but they just don't listen.
Oh yeah, they're cute.
Their personalities are also different. Yeah. And Georgia, like she's funny, like she's really clingy in the morning. So when I come up to my desk to try to work, she's laying on everything. She's into everything. She just drives me. I'm trying to, let's say, like do a video. she's like jumping up on everything. I'm like, Georgia.
Yeah.
But then you want them to be like cuddly, or then they don't want anything to do with you. They're like, no, I'm not interested right now.
Yep. All right, so back really quick to our question on gauge. If someone has a hard time in gauge.
That was
we went on a cat tangent there, doll, because I dropped my hook. I'm so sorry. All right, do you all want me to take this one? One of you guys want to take this one about how to get gauge if we're struggling to get gauge?
You go for it.
All right. Okay. So when it comes to gauge, yes, we do want gauge to be spot on. And there's a few things that we're going to look at. Now, baseline is we're going to make a gauge swatch. We're going to hold it up, see if we like the drape, and like check to make sure we have the correct amount of stitches per rows. And oftentimes a gauge swatch is made slightly bigger than what we're measuring. I've had that question before of like, well, if I'm measuring 4 by 4 inches, why are you making me make like a 5 by 5 or a 6 by 6 gauge swatch? And the reason why is because we don't want to measure to the edges. We want to get the center measurement of that gauge swatch to make sure it's like really, really good. Also pay attention to see if the gauge swatch you are making, because some patterns, especially when I'm doing garments and lacy stitches, I might have two references in there for gauge. One is unblocked and one is blocked. And that is something to pay attention to as well. I oftentimes think that if you're looking at those, blocked is quite often more important than unblocked, because you get a little bit of leeway with that. And so you'll want to block your gauge swatch to those like measurements and then see how that, if you're meeting gauge and not stretching your fabric too much or having like too many stitches in there. Then if we're still struggling with that, there's two things we're going to want to look at, and that's the stitch width and the stitch height. So we don't always want to jump into, well, I'll just use a different crochet hook. That's often the first answer. And yes, well, that can solve a lot. That's not what we want to do before finding out, all right, do I have too many rows or do I have too many stitches or too few? And that will tell you what you have to adjust. If we're looking at the width of the stitch, then switching up our hook size can make a difference. We're going to make those stitches a little bit wider by changing the millimeter of the hook up or down or more narrow to get the width corrected. But if it's the height, that comes down to something that's often called the golden loop. And it's a term that's used about your yarn over and the way that you're pulling your yarn through. So oftentimes we're not all the same when we crochet. and we hold our hooks a little bit differently. You might have a pencil style hold, you might have a knife style hold. That doesn't matter. Either one is fine. But what you really want to look at is where is your hook angling? Because there's what we call yankers.
I love these terms. They're hilarious.
I know. If you're a yanker, your stitch height is going to be really short, because oftentimes too, if you pay attention to the angle of your hook, it's like this. And you really want your hook to, when you pull, obviously your hook's going to be moving around, but when you pull up that loop and you're going to yarn over and maybe complete your stitch, you want to make sure that you're getting the proper height on the stitch. And so if you have too high stitches, so too many rows or even too little rows, that's looking at, maybe you're holding your hook like this and you're pulling the stitch up too tall, or maybe you're holding it like this and it's too short. And when we fix that golden loop, that's what will adjust the rows and the height. And that's why we don't always just want to jump to changing hook size. We could still be frustrated. We're still not getting that correct because we're not fixing the issue that is. And so it's important to really dive into Gauge. And I have a blog post on this, but when you really dive into Gauge to discover like exactly what's going on, and it does, I know that sounded really complicated, but I promise it's not. Once the concept kind of hits, you can just measure it and be like, oh, you know what? I have not enough rows. I'm going to explore the way that I'm yarning over and pulling up with that golden loop. Or, oh, my rows are spot on. I don't have enough stitches in here, or my tension's too tight. So I'm either going to loosen my tension or I'm going to change my crochet hook and make a quick second test. And that's the fastest way to fix it versus going through I'm going to make swatch after swatch after swatch, changing hook size. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I've had lots of people, well, not lots of people, but some people recently say I've made 4 or 5 different, granny squares, for example, and none of them meet the gauge. I don't know what else to do now. And there are small tweaks that are really important. Everyone always assumes it's just changing your hook size, but it isn't, is it?
No. And I think that is often talked about less than sometimes the go-to is oh, I'm just going to change my hook size. And that's why too, just a little FYI, because I'm going to true confession here, I did this in some of my first designs when I was doing baby patterns. And I've corrected it since, but a lot of times I'd be like, oh, you want to make this baby garment bigger for a baby who's 6 months old. Oh, just change your hook size. No, absolutely not. That is you will, I don't even know the last time I've ever said that, but 10 years ago, the chances of you coming to us 3 designers and us saying, oh, you want to size up, meaning oh, I like this. Well, for one, we write inclusive sizing, so just follow our pattern. But if any designer ever says, oh, you want to make this larger or whatever, change your hook size. No, that is incorrect. Do not do that. Your garment is not going to come out well. When it comes to garments fitting well, we can't just change the hook size to change sizing. To change sizing is math and a lot more work than that to get the correct look, because the garment, you can't just change the hook size and go from a size medium to a size large simply by changing a hook size. That's not a thing. It will not fit correctly. And that's the other reason I think sometimes with that misinformation out there, people are not sure with the gauge swatch thing. It kind of makes it a little, muddies the waters and makes it a bit confusing. And you will not get that with us 3. Now, you will hear us sometimes say on a non-garment, easy accessory, and you are struggling a little bit, we do know a lot of times it'll work out.
It doesn't matter. A blanket.
If a blanket is 2 inches wider,
who cares?
That's when we may say, oh, let's play a little bit loose on this one. But when it comes to garments, we are very particular, and because we want you to be we have success. We want you to be successful in what you make and not feel frustrated, and actually wear it and have it look good and have the stitches look nice and the way that they're supposed to look with the correct drape. Because oftentimes changing your hook size can also change the drape. So hopefully, Jennifer, that answers your question. Also, I have a blog post I can send over that talks about that, and it shows images of that golden loop and kind of how to correct it to give those visuals if we're still struggling. Deanne says, I think this collection may be my favorite. Although there are always greats, I'm planning to make everything in it, so I'm going to be busy for a while. That is amazing. That is awesome.
There's a follow-up question about gauge from Sun Sand Stitches saying, do we start the gauge swatch with a chain and then add the rows and stitches? When I see gauge, I only see how many rows and inches it should be, and I don't know how to start it. Yeah, so there's kind of a standardized way of writing gauge that means it's so many stitches and so many rows, for example, in a 4-inch square. That's, I mean, sometimes they are slightly different measurements, but generally it's a 4-inch square. And yeah, once you have that information, if it's going to be something different than the pattern, stitch pattern, it should tell you. So that may say over a single crochet or over double crochet, but it might also say as per the main stitch pattern. And I've certainly learned that over the years that people get far less confused if I then actually stipulate in the pattern, this is how you work your gauge swatch. I actually just write it out now most of the time, especially for garments, because it can be slightly different the way you work the stitch than in the pattern if it's in the row or the round or various things. But yeah, that's the general principle, is that you will work a set number of chains and then work whatever stitch it is that the project is in, and that's then how you measure.
Yes. And I know this also isn't what people want to hear, but this is the truth. And I've had people ask before, when I do a gauge swatch on something that is worked in the round, they'll say, why are we starting with so many chains and joining? And in essence, yes, we kind of are making a lot more fabric because we do want to work it in the round, because working in the round and working in the rows can actually throw off your gauge depending on how stitches are lining up. And some stitches work, if the whole pattern is worked in the round, then we need to make like a cylinder to then get our gauge swatch. So in a way, yes, it's more work, but still worth it. And a lot of times they do work up really quickly because you're just making something small. And I also want to throw out there, if you have extra yarn and you happen to be making something like with cotton, and you do a gauge swatch and you're like, I have a lot of yarn, here's this beautiful 6x6 square, you can use that. You can save your gauge swatch, weave in the ends, and now guess what? You have an awesome dishcloth. You can use it for your face, for makeup. You can, I sometimes I have done it, and then I use it as, like, depending on the yarn, I use it as like a hot pad, because I'm like, well, I don't want to undo. I mean, I have plenty of yarn here. Why am I going to undo the work I did? I'm just going to use this as another home accessory. So they're not always bad. It's not always like a waste of your time.
Oh, this is another good question. So it always confuses me what size to block the gauge swatch to, since it's suggested to make it bigger than the 4 inches. That's a really good question. So the way I do that, I don't know about you guys, the way I do that then is that obviously when I'm designing, I'll block it to how I want it, and then I'll measure within it. But if I'm trying to meet gauge on something else, I will block what it says in the pattern. I will try and block, say, 16 stitches to 4 inches to see if that meets, and so many rows to 4 inches and see if that meets, and then see what the rest of it will then block to, and then work out whether it has met the gauge or not. Is that what you do? I don't know. I don't know another way of doing that.
Yeah, because it also gives you an idea of what the end product's going to be in terms of drape and the look of the stitches. Yeah.
If you have to stretch it out way too much to meet gauge, or if you can tell like it's
too much fabric,
you made it too big. Yeah, like, so usually you don't want to like, you're going to stretch it a bit, but like Hannah said, you want to see if you can meet it. But if you've like had to really overstretch to meet it, then you know that you're going to probably have to go up a hook size. And if it's definitely going to be too big, you're going to have to go down a hook size for your stitches anyways. Like all the stuff, all the information Brianna just said about gauge and how to change. But
yeah,
I think
you got to adjust.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to be kind to themselves about it as well, because it takes a long time to get it right, and you won't get it right every single time. And every time you perhaps use a different designer who's got a very different, like, the golden thing would be to find someone who like has exactly the same gauge as you. So then you don't need to worry about it. But like that's just not going to happen, is it? So you need to know.
And some fibers are going to stretch out more too, which you'll get to realize, like, an acrylic is not going to change much with blocking. Even if you stretch it out, it's probably going to bounce back. Whereas,
isn't it?
certain fibers will stretch more. But just so you know, everyone, I washed. Okay, so this is the cardigan version.
Oh yeah,
in the collection. So I had been wearing it and I hadn't even taken any flat lays of it, but I'm obsessed with it. So I've been wearing it and it's white. So of course it was dirty. And I was like, I can't try to take pictures of this now. So I washed it and dried it per the label for Comfy Cotton. So I this is fingering weight as well. And it says machine wash cold and tumble dry low. So I just followed the instructions. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I wasn't sure if I was going to put it in the dryer. I was like, do I lay it out? But because of this being cotton, when you pull it out of the wash, like, it just seemed like it wanted to stretch like a mile long. Like, you have to really lay it out and make sure that if you're going to lay it out, that it's kind of back to its proper like form and measurement. So I was like, I'm going to tumble dry low. I'm going to put it in here. I was maybe just going to do it for a little bit to kind of, so it wasn't so stretchy, but then I just left it in for the whole dry cycle and it came out amazing. I'm so happy. Like it came out really nice. A little bit, and I actually talk about this in the video, you do see maybe like a slight bit of fuzzing from putting it in the dryer, but definitely nothing that bothered me. I think it maybe like pulled it in slightly, but I felt like as I wore it, it was stretching out. So I felt like putting it.
Did it get softer?
Yeah, super soft. And still it didn't change. I don't think it changed the gauge like a whole lot. It definitely cinched it in a little bit, but I'm actually kind of happy with the way it fits after doing that. So that was my test. It's always nice to just kind of wash things sometimes and just test it out to see what happens. Don't ever do that with wool though. Make sure you read the label. Make sure you read the label. But this one, even sometimes when they say you can, I still am always cautious, but this one did turn out pretty good.
That's good.
That's good. And has that got a hood, or is that just a plain?
This does not have a hood. But the cardigan, you could add a hood. Like I didn't add that in the pattern, but because it's worked very similar to the top, you could add a hood on it if you wanted to.
Good.
Yeah, and it will have actually 3 different sleeve options because I already did a long sleeve and a short sleeve with the top, and then I've also done a 3/4 wide sleeve as well. So
yeah,
mix and match all the elements. It's always fun, right?
Kathy says she is looking for something small and simple. She has cancer and she doesn't have the energy to crochet any big projects, which yes, you should take care of yourself and not feel overwhelmed. So right now, the thing I could suggest in the collection, like I have a really small pattern in there that uses like less than 60 yards, something like that with an easy repeat of a stitch is nice. There's a couple bags in this collection now. A bag would be a good idea. Really, honestly, when you're not feeling well, you should go with how you feel. So starting a small project is not a bad idea. Knowing that you're like, I don't want to jump into a garment. I'm glad you're listening to yourself. We do have some smaller projects. And then also, and this is to everyone, if you're not feeling well and you start a project and you're just struggling, do not get hard on yourself for not finishing it. It's okay. Like when we're not feeling well, it is okay to say like, I want to do this, but today is not the day, or tomorrow may not be the day. This is why we all have whip piles that have a billion projects in them. Yeah. And we're just like, I've learned to just live with it. It's fine. When I feel like doing it again, I'll pick it up. So just be kind to yourself during this time. Lori says, good morning, my favorite trio. We're my favorite trio too. As far as a code for the summer sale, there is no code. Everything for the summer sale is just like on sale. Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm quite sad that it's ending. Because like I know we obviously talk anyway because we have plans for more stuff, don't we? But like when we come live, we talk to each other more and it's lovely.
I know. I love working together. It's so much fun. And I love that we've been able to get together more.
Yes.
That's the best. I should start getting flight alerts for London and just like come see you on the fly.
Yes. Well, it's like Florida weather here today, so you'd fit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like 28 degrees, like like Celsius. Yeah, it's hot.
Beautiful. I know. I wonder what it's.
Oh, the Eloise headband. Sorry, I just realized. Going back to Kathy, the Eloise headband. That is a great small project. Yes.
Yes, that would work really well. And actually, I think that's really nice because maybe it's just got enough of a challenge for the stitch, but once you've got that, it's a 2-row repeat, and once you've got it, it's the most lovely lace.
Yeah,
and
very
actually,
rewarding.
And a few people have messaged saying that of like, I nearly didn't try this because it looked so complicated, and then they message go, actually, it's really easy, Hannah. I'm like, yes, once you get going, you're fine.
Plus, Hannah has a video tutorial. The Eloise headband would be a great quick project that I also feel like at the end of that, you would just feel very accomplished because that lacy stitch is gorgeous. And that could be really nice to have as an accessory. Hannah has shown so many ways to use the Eloise headband. She says headband, but it's so cute around a hat. I love that look. She's tied it, like you can just like tie it on the edge of a handbag.
Yeah.
So cute.
I
So
like necktie. I didn't feel like I was a kind of necktie kind of person, but I really like it like that. With a, I often wear a collar, so around a collar, I was like, oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Or
as a belt, you showed it as with a belt, and that looked nice.
Oh, it did, yes.
Yeah.
Around the dress as well, yes.
Yeah. So many uses for that one.
And you can make it any length you like if you want it. Yeah. If you want it longer to tie or shorter, because I made the plain ones I made quite long. Where are they? Yeah, I made the plain ones quite long, but you can do it whatever. And I did, the pattern is in worsted, sport, and fingering, so you can use whichever yarn weight that you have to hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I haven't missed anything. Courtney says, but he's so cute about my cat. He is cute, but you know.
But naughty.
Michelle, we need a pattern for a black cat this fall.
Ooh.
Let's see. Hello. Other people like, I love crochet. We do too.
Yeah.
And I did not put this. I do have a bag that I usually put my stuff in, but I only washed this with like a couple towels and stuff because I didn't really have the laundry. I'd already done laundry. So I didn't really put this, when I washed this one, I did not put it in a bag, but normally I do just because of that. So whatever you're washing it with might be a consideration as to whether you're going to use a bag or not. And I did block it beforehand, so it had sort of the memory of.
Yes. And I love cotton. I love cotton so much. And not all cottons are created equal. I just have to say that too.
This is true. This is true.
We're not using like red heart sugar, whatever. What is it called? Lily and
sugar and cream, is it?
Sugar and cream, maybe. Which is a great yarn. I'm not dissing on that yarn. That is a great yarn for home decor and dishcloths.
Yeah.
But when it comes to wearables, definitely this comfy cotton is amazing. It's like so soft. It's wearable, literally. Like you're not going to feel scratchy or itchy or heavy or anything like that. So not all cottons create equal, but I love the cotton we used for this. Okay, I am reading so many patterns about people that want that blog post. So you know, I might just send out an email this afternoon.
Yeah, do it. Courtney's replying to lots of people. Bless you.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna email that out and maybe even post in the community group. So I'll blast it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone else said they use their gauge watch to make coasters, which is so smart. Okay, this is a good question. It always confuses me what size to block the gauge watch to, since it's suggested to make it bigger than 4 inches. I hear you. That does sound confusing. Yeah, I could. Yeah. So if we're making, a lot of times, like especially with lace stitches, because you're really honestly, like this is where it's going to matter most, is lace stitches. A lot of other stitches are a lot easier to figure out when you're just like working double crochet. And I'm going to grab something really quick.
What you doing? What you getting?
Oh, just a blocking board.
Oh, board.
Yes. Okay. This is like, I find this to be super helpful. Now, yes, you can just grab a tape measure and you can block it to anything. But one of the reasons why, especially with lace stitches, which I feel like those are the most confusing for people and for myself at times, to go, okay, yeah, I'm making this 6 by 6 inches and then I'm going to block it. And then what am I measuring? But if sometimes when we're saying gauge swatch, and I've done this in my patterns, I'm like chain 55, not 55, like 25. And then, you know, and then you're going to go until your sample is larger than 4 inches, or you're going to do this many rows. And it's like, okay, but that's not your 4 by 4 inch measurement right there. So a lot of times I'll take it on a board like this that has these little squares. And especially when it comes to something like a lace stitch, and this is one of the patterns in our collection, I can, like, through these peekaboo holes, I can see the lines. And so I can look at pretty much the center of the swatch, and I'm kind of lining that up, looking at the 4 by 4 and where it's looking good. Like, I know this sounds, oh gosh, I could just make a video. Sometimes it's so hard to describe these things, but if I show you, then it's like, okay.
So what I do, like, for when I'm just kind of guessing how much, like, I go with like unblocked 6 inches, and then I block it out. I usually just kind of like make sure that it's, when I'm doing a swatch, this is just my easy, like, I just like kind of have my measuring tape, and I just make sure what I'm starting with. And then that's going to stretch out bigger than 6 inches if it's lacy, but I usually try to go with. I'm doing it until I can see that, like, I've got this many stitches by this many rows in that 4 by 4 area.
And it doesn't matter if it's too big, does it? Like, bigger is fine. It doesn't matter, because I think as well with lacy stuff, then you can block the whole thing and you can see what that drape is. And then you get a really good idea of what the fabric, especially if you're making a garment, is going to feel like.
Yes. And okay, I'm going to add one more thing about gauge. You could do a whole gauge swatch, adjust a couple things, get it perfect, and you're like, oh, I rock, ready to go. This is going to be amazing. And then you're going to start chaining a lot because you're doing a garment, and then you're going to make some rows, and you're going to go, what the heck? This is off. And the reason why is because you may have done these on different days. You may have started watching TV, and you're watching like a really intense show, or a show that's putting you to sleep, and your tension will change. Even us, like, we crochet every day. I really don't know many people that crochet probably as much as we do, to where our tension and our gauge, for the most part, like, there's no way we could be more spot on where we do this every single day. However, even us, there are times when I'll be crocheting something, especially if you're talking like a garment and a really big piece, you always want to make sure you're going to take a quick check every 5, 10, 15 rows. Grab your tape measure and measure to make sure you're on track. I have to, because there are times where, I mean, I can't make a cardigan in a night, and I'll set it down, I'll pick it up the next day, and the next day I'm like, well, you know what? I need a glass of wine. So I'm going to drink this glass of wine. My stitches are going to get a little loosey-goosey.
Yeah. I find sometimes for myself, I don't know if you guys notice this, but sometimes when I make my gauge swatch, I crochet it tighter for some reason, maybe because I'm doing something smaller. And then when I get working it, I loosen up. So I have to remind myself when I'm doing the gauge swatch to not do it tight, to do it tight. And I don't know, maybe it's just the size thing. I don't know. I mean, even as designers, we do it as well. So don't feel bad.
Yes. So like, if we do it, we know, like, this is going to be for everybody. It really is. Like, if this is an issue, like, we have to check. What I'm saying is, like, we crochet all the time and we still check. So it's important to check. It's not like you're ever really going to get so good at crochet you never need to check again. I always check, especially making something larger. I'm always grabbing my tape measure and making sure. And you have some leeway. Like, if I found the last 10 rows were a little bit tighter or looser than I wanted, I'm like, oh gosh, I need to adjust my tension. You can see if it's not drastic, it's going to block out. Don't worry. It's going to block, but you don't want to keep going to where, like, it almost looks like you decreased it or increased in an area you didn't want to. So it's not always to say you need to rip back and have it absolutely perfect. We don't. I promise we don't. But you just want to make sure you're not doing anything drastic that may not block out. So, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think as well, stopping every so often is also a good idea to recount your stitch count. Make sure your stitch count is on. And I can't remember. either had been drinking wine or was very tired. There was one of these that I was making with this lace stitch, and there's the last stitch, if you catch it in just the wrong place, which I did on one of them, it throws the whole thing off and the whole thing goes diagonally. And I could not work out what I'd done, and I kept looking at it and going back, and I was like, well, my stitch count is right. I just put the stitch in the wrong place. And is it so annoying when you like, I know I've gone wrong, but I don't know how I've gone wrong or where. But if I'd have carried on, I would never have found where I'd gone wrong without taking it all out. So I always think it is a good idea to stop every, I don't know, 20 minutes or so and go, right, am I still on track?
Am I still on track? I know I say that quite often in my videos. I'm like, keep counting, keep track. With rigging, I am notorious for missing a stitch. So I always tell people, I'm like, keep counting.
Yes, we're saying to ourselves too.
I know, keep counting, make sure. And yeah, do not change your hook brand as well, because that I've done that before I really realized when I was newer at it. Oh, I still was using like a 5mm, but I used a different brand, and then it changed my gauge. So yeah,
that's so true. Yep, that too.
And that's something to consider with your gauge as well. If you have some different brands of hooks, maybe try before you like switch a size.
Yeah.
And sometimes knowing like what hook the designer has used can help that as well. Because some hooks just do a tighter stitch and some do a looser stitch.
Yeah, because it changes your hold too sometimes, like depending on what
I'm using
style it is.
A wood hook. I'm excited. Mary Maxim has got some new like wood hooks that I've been testing out.
Are you liking those?
I am. So I'm working with Prism right now, which I love. And I'm using their new wood hooks. And I feel like my gauge is maybe a little tighter on this than it has been when I've used like a streamline hook. So, but yeah, it's working up. It's working up really nice.
Good. All right. I'm getting a set. You sold me. I'm getting a set.
I want a set too, man.
I just ordered, there's like different colors and some different styles. So I got a bunch of these ones because they go up to like the bigger sizes. But I wanted to try, they have like a more like rounded kind of look as well. So I just ordered some of them.
Yeah.
To try out. Because I mean, I'm obsessed with my hooks, aren't we all?
Yes.
I love the dots. I've been using the dots a lot, and we use them for this collection.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about again. I really actually like them more than I thought I was going to. When I first got them, I was like, oh, I don't know. Right. But now I'm obsessed. Now I love them.
Yeah. They're so comfy. They're so comfy.
Yeah, they are comfy. But yes, how have you been enjoying these wood hooks?
I am reading comments because I know we've been here for an hour, and I know some of us need to jet off of this call soon. I know it goes by so fast. Dory says she agrees with Hannah's scarf. She did a trial run because it did look complicated, but it was easier than she thought it was going to be. So true.
Love that.
Someone's doing the back. I did a V-neck. I think there was, one thing before we get off, just like we've been chatting about gauge, and yes, gauge is so important, but also we need to recap our projects and why we're here. We're going to do that. What top do I have on? This is bought from like Marshall's. It's not crochet. It is
pretty. It's nice.
It almost looks like it could be though. It almost looks like it could be crochet.
I could maybe have made it. I could. That's when people always say, "Did you make your top?" My response, if I like purchase it, is usually like, "I could have." Danny says, "Frogging makes me so sad, even after 26 years." Funny thing, it doesn't to me anymore. It's rare I get sad. I just see it as part of the process. I don't know. I think I used to be more sad than I am now. Maybe I'm just a faster crocheter. Someone said, "I'm thankful for the well-written instructions with the I'm thankful for the well-written instructions with the row and stitch counts. That has been so helpful." That's what you get with us. Amazing stuff. Someone's asking what the 3 new bonuses are. We haven't said because we're kind of keeping it a little bit of a mystery. We will reveal those on our social media, probably starting maybe tomorrow.
I already shared mine.
Oh, yeah. Michelle shared.
I thought we were announcing it in this video.
I'm not. I'm keeping a secret. I'm keeping a secret till tomorrow. Someone's been crocheting for over 10 years now, and they're making Michelle's, she's making her Gaia sweater from the pattern. That is awesome. Yes, that has been in style for men too. My brother-in-law, Woody, wants something that's open stitch like that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, there's loads of crochet for men in the shops over here. I don't know if there is where you guys are. We've got
they're more and more. Yes, like it's popular. Yeah,
like string shirts, string vests. It's a really kind of mesh look.
The mesh look. Yep, it's really
my husband was like, "I'm not trendy enough for that, Hannah. I can't." I was like, "I will make you trendy enough for it."
Like, you will model it.
You will model it for me. He's like, "No, you can get your brother to do that."
All right. So really quick, I'm going to run through. We're each going to run through what we have in the collection. So I have the Regency cardigan. I made it in 2 different colorways and lengths. You can adjust the length on this. This is a really, really fun and easy stitch. And this one's not only great for summer with that cotton yarn, but it's a great layer all year round and in the fall. So there's no rush to get, all these garments can be worn at different times of the year even too. So don't feel rushed. Like, you'll get it when you get it done. Like, just start because you're going to want to get that VIP package before it's gone. And then I also did this bag. This is the Danbury bag that went viral on Instagram. This is the easiest thing ever. It's a rectangle. But then I do this quick origami and this amazing fun handle that is like my favorite thing now. I'm putting it onto a tank top soon. And you can also do it in any striped color that you want. You can also do it solid. I have a solid. Like, it's really just do whatever you want to do. This is easy stitches, just double crochet, single crochet. And I love this so much. I've decided I'm going to make, that viral Taylor dress, that Swifty dress. Yeah. I'm going to do a bag using that granny stitch and those colors with this.
Yes.
And
why not? Cool. That would look so cool.
Because I love, like, people are digging this like easy construction. I'm like, ooh, I could do like the colors and the granny stitch and just market bag. I'm doing it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and the bonus. Plus, I have a bonus in there. A quick and easy small project that can be great for gifts or markets.
Yeah. So so mine, I've got mine all piled up here. The dog was just wearing my dress. It just fell on top of the dog down here. I was like, what are you doing? So my Penelope, it's a kind of 2-in-1 pattern. It can be a top or it can be a dress. It can be any length. And it looks awful when it's off your body, as it were, because it literally is 2 rectangles with your under bust band. And the cool thing is, because it's made in these rectangles, you can have your neckline can be whatever you want it to be. You can seam it up as much as you like at the back or the front, wherever you would like them. And then the dress version has the lace stitch added to the bottom, and that can be mini skirt, knee length, maxi length. Have splits up the side. You can be fully enclosed. Like, you can literally do what you like with it. And then what was my other one? The headband that we spoke about, that you can have either as a straight headband or one with tapered ends. I don't know where the one. Oh, here it is. With tapered ends, so it's easier to tie. It's the same color as my dress. You can't see. To tie around either at the top of your head or underneath. So it's then as a head scarf. And then my bonus as well, which is something to help you sleep.
Love it. All right, Michelle, it's all you.
Okay, so I have the Wallflower Granny Stitch hat, which is doubled up in comfy worsted. So it's a really quick and easy pattern, like an hour maybe. Like, it doesn't take very long to make one. Very, very quick. And I have sizes from baby all the way up to adult, so you can make them for the whole family. I have my little granddaughter modeling. I put little ties so she would keep it on her head. She's still trying to pull them off though, but I did get some cute photos of her. But she's 14 months, so you know how that goes. Oh, yeah. And the V-stitch top, which we called the Viscountess V-stitch top, it had different options, so you can make it with a hood. You can make it long sleeve, or I've shown it also in the ivory as a short sleeve version without the hood. So you can mix and match elements. You could add the hood to the short sleeve. You can lengthen it. I did it the waist length, but you can make it as long as you want. And we've seen lots of pictures in the community group showing it made longer, and it looks great both ways. So really, whatever is your style. So
yeah.
And then I don't know, should I tell them again? I already my bonus pattern. So I added a market bag, and it has lots of sizes in the market bag pattern as well. And it's in worsted weight cotton. So yeah, that's my little bonus pattern.
I can think
maybe nine patterns, and then the 3 other, they're not patterns, but they're like guides and printables as well, aren't they, that are in the collection. But you can get all of the patterns you can get individually in our stores, and you can read the free to view versions on our blogs, but you can't get the whole entity together, and the guides and the ebooks, etc. It doesn't exist anywhere else together. So it's kind of, it's the best price it will ever be for you, basically, is the kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So so 9 patterns. We've got that perfect fit guide. We've got the luxury yarn guide that Hannah put together, and then like all the printables that Brianna did. So yeah, so much stuff all included.
I have my printable for my like mystery little bonus pattern, and that comes with it too.
Yay.
Okay.
So
I love
it all goes, so the collection goes away June 30th, but don't worry, you can still get the individual patterns and go to our blogs forever, basically. Yeah. So
we're not going anywhere.
So if you're just eyeing up on one specific pattern that you want, then you can just
that one pattern,
or just go to our blogs and view it for free as well.
Yep. Yeah. We want to give you all the options possible. The main thing is we just want you to come crochet with us. You can go to our blogs and make these for our blogs, and we're very excited to have you join us. Just know if you did want to join at the VIP, that does go back in the vault and it goes away. And we have been asked several times like why that happens. And it's the back end. Like running a business is so hard, and like don't talk taxes to Michelle right now, but when it comes to behind the scenes and like the stuff that, if you had any idea the stuff we deal with behind the scenes when we have products that, like, especially when we're doing a product with the 3 of us that we live in different countries, it gets complicated. And so to do it, when we do it for like a month, it works out for us. It's easily tracked on a data sheet, and we have to like just chop it off because we cannot keep it live. So that's why we do these for a limited time. We have talked about maybe this year we'll like bring them all back for a Black Friday or something. We talked about that before, but oftentimes when we do come back, like right now, just so you know, when you purchase the VIP collection for this crochet along, you also have the opportunity, if you missed our, what was the word?
2 years ago, the creative cardigan collection.
I almost say creative. Yeah. I was like, it's creative something, the creative cardigans. I can like picture them in my head. You have the opportunity to grab that one at checkout now. So that's what we try to do. We can do that when we're doing these 30-day things because it makes our data behind the scenes for running a business quite clean, but it does have to go away.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I do love a spreadsheet, as you know, but only for a limited time.
Yes. So we don't have the energy to constantly be keeping up with all of that from 3 different countries and taxes and blah, blah. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, so thanks for joining us today. I love working on my crochet projects it's so much fun as we're chatting. It's my favorite thing ever.
It is. Well, look, we just got another hour. I just got another hour in.
I'm almost done attaching my trim, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's fantastic. One less thing to worry about today.
More than I thought.
Yeah. I know we were maybe going to, I think Brianna already talked about her Taylor Swift dress, but we're all like, oh, let's all make granny dresses. I mean, we've all been coming up with all these granny stitch patterns. So that's what I've been working on. So, and I'm using Prism for mine in Sunset. And I'm just like, it really has fall vibes, but I'm just loving it. I'm just loving this.
I think that's kind of like sunset as well. I think that could be like a holiday sunset look. I like that. Yeah.
Side across. And
well, when we all saw, didn't we, pictures obviously of Taylor Swift wearing that granny dress, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm like just about to piece one together that's almost the same. And then we were all like, let's all do one. Let's all do it.
Let's have it's
fun,
all
right? Like, I mean, they're all unique in their own. It's kind of following a theme of we love the granny stitch. Let's make you know, more stuff in it. And so I mean, this one obviously is not going to really look like Taylor's, but it's kind of going off that beat of, you know, granny. I think I'm going to run granny squares down the front of mine.
Oh, no. That'd be fun.
That'd be
so for my center, it's going to have, unless we both Em and I are like, well, let's make them and like piece it out. Do we like look or not? We always, I'm unsure until I like see it laid out. And do I like
I first have to finish the current granny dress that I've been working on for like 2 months. And I have started, I'm like, finish this one. And then you can do the Taylor one. I'm trying to like motivate myself to finish a whip. But of course, I already started my Taylor one because it's like way too much fun in this yarn. And we're all going to be coming out with these. And I did a sneak peek yesterday. And of course, everyone's asking when. And I just have to say, if you know us, if you know how polished we are not going to release it until we are happy with it and it is good, because we want you to have the best experience with every pattern we do. We are not going to haphazard quickly throw out some random pattern without photos or good instructions or video or extra tips and tricks. You know how we roll. You know how we roll. It will be so good when we do release it. So yeah, I'm sure now that everyone knows, they're going to be asking.
I feel like I want one in black too, because I feel like I would wear it out everywhere.
Did you see the original? Like there is a version in black and white.
Oh no, I didn't. Didn't even really do much research. Just
saw like the
pictures of this dress.
Yes. Everyone's seeing like the brown, the purple, like there's a black and white version that's like the similar but just striped black and white.
Black and white, that would be cool.
That would be nice. But I'm on my second version because you know what I'm like. I was like, I'm almost done, but I'm just going to change the neckline. So I know. But yeah, so these are mine's kind of like a summer. It was going to be like a bikini cover up. So then
I love those colors. Yeah, those colors are to die for.
Yeah, which are all comfy. It's all comfy worsted that I'm using. So
the color combination is stunning. It's so funny though that you literally had it.
You like already did this
for the first time in my life. I've been on trend, you know, before I even knew it.
The best stuff, and for me, it's any excuse to use Prism and these like vibrant colors. Like I'm obsessed with. I hadn't used this color yet though, and I'm like, oh, this is so good.
I have had this yarn here for like a year. Like, what should I make with it? And even though it says worsted, you know, like I gauged, I'm like, no, this is like a bulky. It really is. And so it's working up so fast. But as I've been doing this, I've also been writing a guide because, you know, like we like go the extra while. And my guide is almost complete. And this is why with us, you heard Michelle say, I might do this. You heard Hannah say, I think I want to offer this. This is why you will not see us release this today. Like so many are coming out. Like we want to make sure that we have done them with all the extras and all the cool stuff. And for me, we could release them faster if we didn't get into our own heads and we're like, oh, you know what? We should also do. And so I'm writing a guide to make it in any weight of yarn. So I'm keeping it really simple. And I've done the math and you can pick it up and go by a guide where you can make it in any weight. And so now I want to make like 5. So
because you've got so much time to do that.
I am not that ambitious. I'm sorry. You do it a different color, but it's going to be in DK weight.
I'm like, if you could pick up any yarn and make it because I'm sticking with like the base. But this is the fun thing too about us 3 is you see us come on here and we talk and like you see us saying like we're all designing a similar trendy thing right now. We think that there's enough room in the market. And we also know that all 3 patterns will be so different from each other. Like they are basically individual patterns. And we love promoting each other and saying, oh my gosh, how cool is Hannah's version? How cool is Michelle's version? Like we can't get enough. We can't get enough of the, like it's so fun. Like we are definitely like, just like a lot of people, we go nuts over yarn. We have so much fun seeing what we each design. It's just the best. I love it.
Yeah. I think that some people get confused on copyright and how that all works. Like, oh, if we all 3 make a dress, well, aren't you copying? But the thing is, when we design it, it's our instruction. It's our actual own personal style and instructions that make it ours and what is protected. So you may see 3 granny stitch dresses or 3 granny stitch cardigans, but they're all going to be a completely like it's going to be a different pattern, different design,
and
different instruction, different teaching. So yeah.
I was thinking that as well, of, you know, the way that you do this granny stitch, you can do it a number of different ways. You can finish your ends in a different way. And I bet we all use different versions. And that's cool. That's great. And that is what makes it different. And like our necklines will all be different. Our construction will all be different. You can
I can never I could never follow a pattern even before. Like I always
I'm terrible.
From the very beginning, I could not follow someone else's pattern. I would just change it and make it my own style. Even looking at Taylor Swift's dress and being like, oh yeah, I want to make a great, but I could never like make it just like that. I have to make it different just to do my own unique thing.
Oh, right. Like that's and you know, and like I know how we are also similar in the way that we design, and sometimes like I don't know, go overboard, but we don't think there's a such thing as overboard. We think the more instructions, the more details, the more options, the better experience you have, and that's our overall goal. Not to just, you know, pump out patterns just to pump out patterns. We want you to have a great experience with that. And Michelle's right. Like we were joking, like, oh, if we all come out with granny stitch patterns, are people gonna be like, they're all copying each other? Little do people may know, like we talk about this behind the scenes. We were joking. We're like, let's all do it. Like, don't feel left out. Do it.
Right, I want to make more dresses because I'm just like, I wear them like especially in the summer. I just love
Florida.
Dresses.
In the summer, dresses are my favorite thing ever. And maybe it's just because of my age. And we were joking about this. We were together. Remember, I took my skirt and I was like, I need some venting. It's just so hot. Dresses are so
love that outfit. I love that outfit. That was so cute on you,
so
Brianna.
Cute. Target nailed it on that outfit.
Clothes and fashion, don't we? Yeah.
It was so fun. So yeah, I guess we just all made a little bit of announcement for you. And I know I keep saying, please be patient. I know we're going to get tons of comments of like, when are you releasing it? We will.
Yeah. I mean, and I have to, like, I'll probably make a couple, then my tech editor has to go, like, it's all of the things, right? So it all takes time.
It does.
And
we don't want to do it
holidays this week anyway, so she's off on holidays.
That's fun. And we want to make sure it's like perfect. We want to make sure that it's going to be awesome. Oh, someone says in our granny era. Oh, I love that. Yes. Yeah, it'll be fun when we release it. I think it's going to be super fun to see how they all turn out. Hannah's colors, I'm dying about. It is crazy how Hannah already had that worked out before this dress came out.
I was like, how did she know?
I wonder how many years we're going to stay on granny stuff. I know some people are getting sick of it, but I'm...
Well, that's what I was like.
Yeah, I have so many other things that... I mean, I'm hoping to do another crochet along in August. It's just whether I can not get distracted and actually... because this has sidetracked me.
Not get distracted. You're like, I just got distracted.
I just got distracted. Oh, the ADD, man, it can be a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Yes. And people might be asking, so a lot of times as we close out, and we're not truly closing out, but as we close out one crochet along, and once again, no deadlines, post whenever you want to post. It's always going on in our community groups. They ask what we're doing next. And so I know for sure Hannah and I are going to have some crochet alongs individually next month, using the granny stitch that we have on our desk. And I have a couple other stitches I'm using for mine. Hannah's is going to be amazing. I feel like everyone's been hounding you for this one, Hannah.
I finished them all. I'm so excited. Look, let me just show you the one with sleeves.
Yes.
Here.
So this is the one with sleeves.
So pretty. I love it. It's amazing.
Brilliant. And I've now got 9 different patterns, 6 adult and 6 children, in this kind of granny stitch, some with squares around the yoke, some sort of all focusing on this yoke that comes down and then closes at the sides. So we're just going to do a massive mashup of granny stitch stuff.
That's amazing.
That's my plan.
Yeah. And then for sure, we're going to be back in the fall as a trio because we have so much fun. We're going to be back in the fall for another crochet along with the 3 of us. So we'll be doing sneak peeks of that as we get closer to it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have any further questions on any of these patterns or where to get the collection, there's a QR code here. We have links in descriptions. Come in our community groups, grab that VIP if you want to get it before it goes away on the 30th. And then continue to ask questions in our community group. Please, please, please. We love sneak peeks. We love yarn choices. We love half-worked projects. We love all the things when it comes to these crochet alongs. Just post. It makes us so happy. It makes everyone so happy to share and work these up together. And then we will be back again together this fall. Not saying when. So yeah, thank you everyone. Have a